Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order on Monday, April 13th at 6:50 p.m. So thank you all for attending, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge Before we get started, I'd like to give notice. We had an executive session just prior to the meeting where we discussed legal and real estate issues. Okay, tonight we're going to start off with some presentations. First off will be Agnes Irwin Student Project. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Maeve White.
Oh, hi, I'm Liv Jamoose.
And I'm Melissa Kelly.
And we're all students at the Agnes Irwin School. And a few weeks ago, we proudly worked with the Board of Commissioners and Mr. White to create a new vision of Wayne.
Maeve, can you talk into
Oh, yeah. And we did this by splitting up into 5 separate groups, one being parking, greenery, aesthetics, advocacy, and pedestrian safety. We went into Wayne and spoke to multiple business owners and workers about how they view Wayne today, what their problems are, and how we can improve Wayne as a whole.
After listening to what these people had to say, each group created a video, and me and Maeve were in the parking group, and this is the video that we made. Is there someone else going to do it?
There we go. Takes a minute.
Just to
I guess so.
Parking in Wayne. As a part of the Radnor Township Comprehensive Plan, we investigated how we could change Wayne's parking for the better. We interviewed 3 businesses in Wayne. First, we interviewed the manager of Elegance Cafe.
What is different about our community is that we are a close community. We are a family community. This is the kind of place that customers need to pull in, grab their salads, and leave. The meters don't work all the time, and if it's raining, they never work.
Next, we asked the owner of Main Point Books for possible solutions for parking.
An easier point rather than a massive infrastructure project might be better signage. So there's big lots, for example, on South Wayne opposite the fire station, and on West Wayne behind the AT&T building.
Last, we interviewed an employee from the Griffin Cafe.
For work, do you have to park far, like when it's busy? Yes, depending on the lot, it can take like
If you're interested in improving any of these parking problems, please visit the Radnor Township Comprehensive Plan website or attend a town meeting.
how do we go back?
We have,
we
we have
other
multiple videos.
Cue up the next one.
So we weren't told how to do this.
It's this one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For years, the space has been used for a parking lot. It works, but it's not exactly bringing people together. Most people see a place to park, but what if it could be more?
I think Wayne would really benefit from another green space, especially downtown where there's not many green spaces within walking distance. I think a green space should always be used by everyone. I guess I would keep it just to humans only, maybe no dogs.
So that was the greenery video.
The purpose of our project was to help Wayne bring the community together and create a space where people of all ages could connect. One of the biggest things I learned from this project was how important citizen engagement is. Before this, I didn't realize how much local communities depend on the opinions of the people who live and work there. When we interviewed residents and workers, we found that their perspectives truly matter in shaping what happens in their town. I worked with 2 other students and focused on adding a green space area to Wayne. Green spaces are important because they provide people with places to relax, socialize, and be active. They can also improve mental health and encourage kids to spend less time on screens and more time outside in a place like Wayne. In a place like Wayne, adding a green space can make the place feel more lively and welcoming.
Thank you for inviting us to come speak during your board meeting. Thank you for inviting us to come speak during your board meeting. We hope that you take our videos and ideas into consideration for the future of Wayne.
Yeah, sorry, thank you so much. Before you leave, can you make sure that we get copies of all that? And then also, did you guys do this, was it a project for school?
It was like a week. Our school has this week called SSP week, and you can choose.
Can you
Yeah.
come back to the mic?
Sorry.
Basically, it's a week in school. It's called SSP week, and everybody gets to choose what SSP they want to be a part of. Many of them, you get service hours. One of them is like you go help, like food insecurity. You go try food out in Philly, and we tried this one for Wayne.
It was very, very good. Thank you.
Thank
And then-
you.
and
Real quick, what does SSP stand for?
Special studies programs.
Any other commissioner?
Thank you. I had the pleasure of working with these 3 wonderful students as well as a whole larger group. The thoughtfulness, the strategy, like everything was really planned out. We had a great day walking together in Wayne, and I took off, and then now I'm thrilled to see what you all spent the rest of the time doing, talking to residents and visitors and our business owners. There are multiple videos. They will be shared on our Wayne Master Plan website. So I really do encourage everybody just to take a minute, go to our website and watch all of the videos that all of these students spent time in, but so thoughtful and really, really good quality work. And I appreciate your contribution to our community.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. They're great. Our next presentation will be Stormwater Bond Projects Update.
Mr. President, if I could, while Mr. Norsini and Mr. Tate make their way up to the podium, for the newer commissioners, this is a presentation that these 2 presented on, I think last summer, if I recall correctly. We had a handful of stormwater projects identified for borrowing and moving forward with. We have since added another project that Mr. Norsini will get into here. I wanted to draw a quick correlation between this presentation and there's 4 items on the consent agenda relating to the issuance of the bonds that will fund these projects. And that's the appointment of financial advisor, bond counsel, and underwriter, with the 4th piece of legislation being the reimbursement agreement. And for those that aren't familiar, that means with the adoption of that, we could start spending money on the projects with the assurance that when the bonds are issued later this year, we'll be able to reimburse ourselves for those costs incurred. So it's a resolution that allows us to get started sooner rather than waiting till the bonds are issued. So without further ado, Mr. Norsini, take it away, and then Mr. Tate.
Thank you, Mr. White, and good evening, Commissioners. So we did step through this last year. I'll be a little more brief this time, but I do want to go over some good points. So one of the things we're going to talk about very quickly is how we distinguish between different projects, one being stormwater management, the other being infrastructure and what we call BMPs. So infrastructure, that's pipe, inlets, things in the ground that convey runoff, whether they convey it to a stream or to a stormwater management system or to elsewhere. those are the pipes and inlets. Those are the things you see on the street, right? But that's not stormwater management. That's just to convey stormwater. Stormwater management, these are used to reduce flooding. These projects are where we capture runoff, we hold it, we try to infiltrate it, and we release it at a specified rate, right? So we're taking water off the streets or off the parking lot, we're holding it, and we're, again, trying to get it into the ground, but we're releasing it slowly so we don't cause problems downstream. BMPs can take many forms. Tree trenches, we've done little parking lot BMPs. These are small incremental measures. So in and of themselves, they don't make a big difference. But over time, the more you do, those incremental measures start to add up. And we've done quite a few over the last few years. Just to go back and talk about a few big projects we did. We had the South Wayne Area Flood Reduction Project. That's across from the middle school and the firehouse. As you can see in the picture, there it was during construction with those underground arches. And when we completed it, I think we have a pretty nice parking lot with solar lights. If you go to the West Wayne Preserve and Friends of the Radnor Trail, this picture, the upper picture is Friends of the Radnor Trail. Just goes to show the enormity of the subsurface system we have going in there, and that's not all of it. There's one under the parking lot too. When we were done, post-construction, I think it turned out well. So, across the country, every state, every municipality, everybody's infrastructure, there are parts and pieces that are well past their useful life, and Radnor is part of that. We're not alone. We are one of the thousands and thousands of municipalities that have aging infrastructure. And we're going to deal with some of that. So we're requesting funding to address 8 infrastructure projects through 2028. As I said, we did major stormwater management projects in the past few years. Now we're concentrating on these. So again, I'll be brief on the descriptions. Earls Lane Culvert. So we did some work about 7 years ago to try to prolong its life. We had it re-inspected after one of the remnants of a hurricane. It is now in need of replacement, right? That's one of the ones that's up for replacement, approximately $2 million cost. Spring Mill Road Culvert, there's a piece of culvert, there's some corrugated metal pipe, there's been a plate sitting over top it for a few years. This is one we need to, this has to just be redone. There's no repairing this. Lesser cost. Walnut Avenue Culvert replacement. Few hurdles with this one. Historic district, we have to be very careful with how we do this. Probably even more pressing is the sanitary sewer relocation we're going to have to do. And in these 100-year-old neighborhoods, sanitary sewer systems weren't installed back then like they are today, right? So we have sewers that go through things. They're only 2 feet under the ground instead of 4. So that's going to be a big part of this. It's not just your garden variety culvert replacement. Again, a pricey project at around $2 million. These are 2 projects, but they are so close to each other, we would bid these together. So the Morris Road / Clover Road project, there's homes that live on both these roads that in big rainstorms, because of the deteriorated storm sewer pipe in their backyard, they get geysers, literally get geysers in their backyard. So this would be to replace that pipe and get rid of those things. A little further south, on South Devon Avenue, we have that aging corrugated metal pipe that runs under driveway aprons and sidewalks, and it is time for that to be replaced. Now, if that fails, that's sidewalk, that's driveways, and these projects have both been on our radar for some time. So as you can see, those circles identify it. That's Philippone Park. So this is a different project, Fenimore Woods Park Storm Sewer Replacement. So I want to make sure when I say it's a different project, this is not a park project of any kind at all. There is a large pipe that comes off of Eagle Road in an inlet, goes under the bridge on Fenimore, and then outlets below. So that pipe is in poor shape. It is in need of replacement. But this project needs to be done in conjunction with a playground upgrade. Because the 2 are so close together, I wouldn't want to put a pipe in that hamstrings my colleague in what she can do, Mrs. Cohen can do with the playground, nor do I want Mrs. Cohen to do a playground project that hamstrings us, right? So we need to work together, and that's why they're in conjunction. Ithan Valley Park upstream culvert. So if you've been to Ithan Valley Park, there's an entrance and an exit. We did a project about 3 years ago on the downstream bridge. I think it came out beautifully. It really came out nicely. This is the upstream bridge. It's a different facade, but it's undergoing the same issues. So the picture there shows the work that was done on the other culvert. I'm sorry, the other bridge. That's a true bridge, right? The decking, the walls, the barrels, and it would be something similar on the upstream portion. Again, that's $1 million project. This is a project that started Highview Drive, and it's picked up again. So this is a serious project, and we have a township outfall. When I talk about an outfall, that's a pipe that comes from an inlet and lets water out. So remember I said we can convey water to a stream, we can convey it to a system. Well, in this case, we convey it to a backyard. And that backyard has gotten severely eroded to the point where the pipe has fallen off. It's created quite the gully, quite a trench, and I think that's an understatement. So this project is to address that, to replace that pipe, to make it safer. 607 South Valley Forge Road, very similar to the previous project. We have inlets that discharge through a person's property, and those pipes are now deteriorated. They're old corrugated metal pipe. So corrugated metal pipe was the pipe of choice for decades in that it was inexpensive and was thought that it was going to last for a long time. It doesn't last as long as the marketing says, but that's the same type of project. Okay, this is the different one. This is the new one. This just occurred. Skunk Hollow Emergency Culvert Replacement. So if you look here on the screen, you can see actually see the leaf site, right? Darby Paoli Road, 600 Darby Paoli Road is the address of the park. This is the parking lot down below, and that blue dot is about where that culvert is. So this culvert is on the drive. It is the sole access to the Leaf Center, to the parking lot, for our residents. And it's also where we pile snow up from the winter from Wayne. It's the only way in and the only way out. And right now it's closed. It's because it looks like this. So where you see that rod going into the concrete, some of these are 2 feet deep, right? You can see these huge cracks. It's undermined 2 and 3 feet in the stream. So this is beyond repair. We did try to look at it from a repair standpoint. We have a structural engineer go out. He puts on waders. He goes under there. It was very, very evident that repair was not a feasible option. It's going to have to be replaced. So again, it's the only way in, the only way out. I think these pictures speak 1,000 words. We did have a report that my colleagues sent to the board some time ago, and we got a much more detailed report. So where we stand on a timeline, we have to go through DEP permitting to get this done. And if DEP agrees that it is an emergency, that does 2 things. It shortens the timeline for design, and it actually changes the cost proposal for design because less work is included. If they don't agree with that, the cost proposal is more expensive and the timeline, because there's so much more work involved. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and Commissioner Agnew was on a call with me last week with another state agency. This is the world, one of the worlds I live in, and it's a bureaucratic world. So we're going to reach out to them again this week, and hopefully they agree with us that it is an emergency project. As soon as I find out one way or the other, and I get off my knees from pleading and holding my breath, whatever the results is, we'll be back with a proposal to get that work done. So this is the updated spreadsheet, and really all those prices are the same for all those projects. The only new one is the Skunk Hollow Culvert Emergency Replacement. Just an asterisk next to the yellow, if you will. 1.6 million. It's very hard to determine what a project's going to cost before it's designed, and we don't have a design yet because we're going to go through this process with DEP. But we feel that's a valid estimate as far as to what that would cost. I will tell you $1 million is not by what it used to. It's very easy to spend $1 million on a culvert, not a problem. As you saw, some of those culverts were $2 million because of their length. So I will now hand it over to my colleague, Mr. Tate. I just want to wrap up with one thing, though. So just because we're doing infrastructure now, so the last bond issue, the last GOB, we did the stormwater management, we did flood reduction. Now we're concentrating, because we have to, on infrastructure. But that doesn't mean stormwater management and flood reduction goes away. We had a Midland area study, right? So we're going to still continue to look at that. We're still going to work on incremental BMPs in the future. But right now, the pressing matters are these parts of our infrastructure which are failing. Mr. Tate.
Thank you, Mr. Orsini. And thank you, Mr. White and Commissioners, for allowing me to present tonight. So what you're looking at is a model that was developed about 5 years ago. So some of you have seen this before. And we're looking at a 10-year look of the Stormwater Management Fund. This was developed so that we could look at all revenue and expenses in and out of the fund, and then project, based on the necessary projects that we need to borrow for, what the cost of those projects are, as well as the debt service required to fund those for the projects. Ultimately, we're looking to build out what is the expected fee increase somewhere in the future in order to fund the debt service. So what we first did, these were the projects presented at last year, and actually in 2022. So we completed the first round of borrowing with this $10 million borrowed in 2022, and there were 8 major projects completed with that money. At the time, we were looking at a future borrowing somewhere out here in 2026, and then also looking to determine what would the fee increase be, what's required to fund the debt service on these bonds that the new bonds we're going to borrow for. That next round of projects is what Mr. Orsini just presented right here. The 8 projects plus the one that was just added for the Skunk Hollow culvert. This is the roughly $10 million that's needed. And down further below, actually, those are future projects we're not even looking at yet, or we're not looking at financing. So with this next round of funding, with the $10 million we will borrow this year, we expect to borrow this year, the debt service will begin out here in 2027. At that time, to fund the existing debt service and the new debt service, the fee increase that would be required in the stormwater fund would be a $3 per unit increase in 2027, $3 unit increase in 2028, $2 in 2029, and $2 in 2030. Some of you may recall years ago when we presented, we had an expected $4 million borrowing out here, and at that time, projected increase was just slightly lower. It was 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So we're now coming from last year and now this year, adding another project, the Skunk Hollow project, increasing the borrowing from $8 million to $10 million. Projected fee increase is, as shown here, 3, 3, 2, and 2 to fund the debt service out here for the next 20 years. So I know it's a lot of numbers, a lot to look at on a small screen, but this has been a tool that's been very helpful, and we can plug and play numbers, we can put in future borrowings, and actually forecast projected fee increases out for a number of years. The appointment of the professionals tonight, as Mr. White noted, is simply to begin the work for preparing for bond issue. We'll come back before you again, probably late summer, early fall, with the introduction and then hopefully the adoption of the bond ordinance to actually issue the bonds at that time and be fully funded for these projects. Lastly, I'd like to mention, if anyone would like to meet and go over any of this in further detail, because it is a lot to absorb on a spreadsheet on one big screen. Happy to do so, talk about projects and the related cost. Thank you.
So when you're talking $3 per unit, a moderate household, how much would that increase their stormwater fee?
Well, the unit price is currently $29. Has not been changed since inception.
Right.
I believe the moderate, what we would call moderate, is probably a 2-unit,
Got it.
2 stormwater units. So that would be a $6 increase.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other board of commissioners have a question? Comment?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tate and Mr. Norsini. All right, it's now time for public participation. We will open the floor to the public comment. Please state your name and street for the record and keep comments to 5 minutes. Anyone? Okay. Yeah, it's hot. Okay, on to the consent agenda. Does anybody from the public would like to discuss something on the consent agenda? Anybody from the board? So let's call the vote for the consent agenda. Can I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Second, and I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 6-0. Okay, moving on to the business agenda. Starting with 3A, Resolution 2026-52, a resolution of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the execution of 6 remnant defendants settlement combined subdivision participation and release form. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Discussion?
Yes, Commissioner Riley, just an explanation. This is a resolution that approves one of, I think, the last class action suits involving the pharmaceutical injury. This is the 3rd or 4th that Radnor has approved. This started about 4 or 5 years ago when both the Attorney General and Delaware County requested all municipalities to sign up for this, these opioid settlement agreements. So this is the latest and maybe the last. There's 6 remaining, or what's called the remnant defendants. They're listed in the exhibit to the resolution. The reason for doing this is that the more municipalities in Delaware County that signed up for this, the more money potentially comes into the county to address opioid addiction and related issues. So, that's why it's on the agenda. Like I said, it's the 3rd or 4th. The larger defendants were settled 2, 3, 4 years ago, and this looks like it's probably the last one. One of the things, if the board approves this, we will check with the county and find out in terms of the funds, what funds are there additional funds, how are they being distributed? Because there is a county board that was set up 3 or 4 years ago to distribute funds. But there's no direct money coming to Radnor Township. It'll come to the county for opioid addiction services.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any public comment on this resolution? Okay, let's call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? 6-0, it passes. Okay, on to 3B, Resolution 2026-57, recognizing the America 250 celebration by authorizing the execution of the license agreement for the property at 118 West Lancaster Avenue for the painting of a celebratory mural, authorizing a July 4th fireworks show, and authorizing the expenditure of not to exceed $43,000 for these events. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you.
Shall we talk a little?
And a discussion with the board?
So just give a little background here. There's the America 250 celebration, of which is then devolved down to the individual states, from the states to the counties, municipalities. I got involved because of Porch Fest before this was, before I was a thing here, whatever. And so we met, when I say we, Molly Gallagher and I, Miss Gallagher and I met last week with Janie Lau of the Lau Longsworth Charitable Fund. And also Ms. Lau is on the Delco 250 committee. And we're discussing some things to be done as part of Radnor's celebration of America's 250. Coincidentally, and it hard to believe, but it truly was serendipity, that we were also around that time contacted by Stacy Ballard of EADA Properties, or Enterprises actually, about doing a mural regarding this. And so I was like, well, this is kind of working out. There's also fireworks, and Ms. Gallagher will fill us in on all the events. But it was Miss Lau of her charitable fund agreed to donate, that's the right word, contribute, about $12,000 towards the mural. So I want to thank her very much for that, and we would sort of pick up the rest, which would be about another 12. Ms. Ballard is doing the initial 1,000. And then with regards to the fireworks show, well, no, we haven't had fireworks for a while in Radnor, so it's kind of about time we come back to it for the 4th of July. And I don't want to steal Molly's thunder since she's been working really hard on this. So Ms. Gallagher, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we have been busy little bees. I fondly call us Radnor 250. And I thought the best way to explain how busy we've been is to prepare a statement. So bear with me. Thank you, Commissioner Agnew. Radnor Township is proud to join Delaware County in celebrating America's 250th anniversary this year. Thank you to the board for allowing us to mark this once-in-a-generation milestone that honors the founding of our nation. As one of the oldest counties in Pennsylvania, Delaware County offers a unique perspective on the past, present, and future. Here in Radnor, we sit as far northwest into the county as you can get. Some even refer to us as the main line rather than Delco. And within our township borders, we have more historic sites than we can count. This is our chance to celebrate. Radnor 250 is our local nonpartisan committee, serving to engage all residents in the America 250 anniversary. We aim to create and promote experiences now through 2026 that ignite imaginations and highlight 250 years of American history through Radnor's unique lens. In Radnor Township, America's 250th anniversary isn't just a party thrown for us by Delaware County. We envision a party thrown by us for us. The Radnor 250 Committee is excited to share the ways Radnor residents can celebrate America's birthday this year in Radnor Township. First, thanks to the generous support for public arts from the Lau Longsworth Charitable Fund, the township is partnering with Mainline Mural Arts, a local 501c3 supporting local artists, to install a public mural honoring iconic and historic Radnor Township sites and the dynamic Wayne skyline, all in commemoration of America's 250th anniversary. The Lau Longworth Fund has donated $12,000. Mainline Mural Arts has pledged $1,000. The Mainline Mural Arts will also donate the lift for use by the artist during the installation, and they will prep and maintain the wall for the life of the mural, which is about 10 to 15 years. The township will lease the wall for $1 a year, thanks to EADA Enterprises, and there will be no advertising or commercial branding associated with this art installation. Thank you to Ms. Lau, Ms. Ballard from Mainline Mural Arts, and the resident artist chosen for this mural. Next, we are so pleased to announce a partnership with Radnor Township School District's Art Department. Ms. Janine Kwozak, Radnor High School art teacher, will lead students from the high school, middle school, and elementary schools, and using a printmaking technique to create a patchwork-like image of the American flag. This custom student-made American flag will be dedicated on or around Flag Day, which is June 14th, in an America 250 Radnor Township flag dedication ceremony with police and fire departments, local veterans, and other community partners. It will then be displayed permanently under glass for all to see. This one's special to us, and we cannot wait to see what our Radnor students create in honor of America 250. It would not be July 4th in Radnor without the Garrett Hill July 4th Parade. This year, the parade has welcomed a new director, Colleen McBee, and she's a delight to work with. Our hope is to partner with Colleen and her committee and our Public Works team to create an America 250 float to pull in this year's parade. We'd love for this to be a community-designed and created float in red, white, and blue. Nancy Campbell at the Wayne Art Center is partnering with us to host a community paint-out in downtown Wayne. More details to come, but we look forward to welcoming our residents to Wayne on a Sunday afternoon to paint historic sites and to then display them in an America 250 exhibit at the Wayne Art Center this July. You do not have to be an artist to participate. This is open to all community members with interest and a paintbrush. The South Wayne Porch Fest is happy to announce an America 250 theme. St. David's Episcopal Church will host a summer talk series focused on American history and ministry. Mainline School Night's summer curriculum is based on America 250. In July, the Delaware County Sports Museum will host an exhibit in the lobby of the Township building dedicated to Delaware County athlete war heroes from all 5 wars. And lastly, both the Radnor Historical Society and Radnor Memorial Library will have America 250 programming all summer long. And as the Commissioner mentioned, it's been a very long time since Radnor has rang in July 4th with a fireworks show. While it's a special effort, how often do you turn 250? Fireworks would be fantastic this year. Thank you for your support in our efforts, and we've had a lot of fun planning Radnor 250 along the way.
Wow, that was a big list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this resolution?
They can come and speak. We don't. Well, you can check, but we don't read out emails.
About the Wayne Business Association.
Yeah. Any more staff comment on this?
The only thing we'd like to add is if folks watching are learning about this in real time and are interested in understanding all of the events that are going on, not just in Radnor, but Delco and beyond, there are dedicated websites. I know Molly's working with Delco 250. We have to submit all of the events going on in Radnor, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything going on in Delco. So if anyone's interested in learning, not just what's going on in Radnor, which that list I'm sure will continue to grow throughout this year, but also go to Delco 250's dedicated webpage and you'll see all the events going on. It really is going to be kind of a fun year. I'm looking forward to seeing how all this comes together.
All right, thank you very much. All right, public comment? I'm going to call the vote.
Can I just do a quick comment real
Sure.
quick? First, I want to say thank you for the Garrett Hill plug. That parade is amazing, so anybody that wants to come out and check that out, I cannot wait to see that float, so please contribute to it. I do have a question. Where are the fireworks going to be at the high school? I think that's where they used to be. Where are they going to be? Oh, no? To know? Somebody need to, nobody told me that. Never mind, I'll be quiet and share that celebratory news some other moment. Thanks for, I guess I should have been here for executive session.
Well, yeah, in the interest of full transparency, There are a lot of details we still have to figure out. We wanted to make sure we had board support before we got rolling too far down the hill too fast. So those are the details we're still working out.
Really exciting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to call the vote. Oh, sorry, public comment. Yes, thank you.
My name is Joe Cossi. I live on Bloomingdale Avenue.
You can come up to the mic, please.
I just would like to ask about the fireworks for the 250, and where will that be?
Yeah, I think that hasn't been decided yet.
Okay. I remember years ago, there was a firework display at the Radnor High School.
Right.
I think that was just one time I attended that, but I don't remember ever seeing that again. But again, that was years ago, so this hasn't been determined yet where that will be.
No, not yet.
And where the crowd will gather and
Right.
so forth. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to call the vote for this resolution. All in favor? Aye. 6-0. On to 3C, ordinance 2026-10, adoption, repeal of handicap space at 257 Williams Road. Any comment from staff?
I can just,
Sorry, thanks.
this has been advertised for a hearing. This came out of the police department. It's just a removal of an existing handicap space.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion for this
So moved?
ordinance? And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment on this? All right, seeing none. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Okay. 3D, ordinance 2026-01, adoption, an ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending its Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Article 5, departmental organization by consolidating the engineering and community development departments and revising the responsibilities of the finance, police, public works, and parks and recreation departments. Consolidation and information technology department under the finance department and establishing a fire and rescue department. Can I have a motion?
So moved?
And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
So,
Staff, yes.
Commissioner Riley, this is a update of Article 5, which is your administrative code. Not sure it's been updated since the late 70s or 80s, but it consolidates and the township manager and I have been working on this for a couple of years, but we delayed it because of the fire and rescue department also being implemented. But it consolidates the engineering community development department, creates the fire and emergency rescue department. There's other clarifications throughout here. It consolidates the information technology department, and also made some changes to the park and rec department provisions. But been advertised for a public hearing. It was introduced last month. Nothing's changed since last month, and we're just bringing it up to date to match what is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment? Any board comment? Let's call the vote for this ordinance. All in favor? Aye. 6-0. 3E, Resolution 2026-09, further amending the township's organizational chart to include newly created Fire and Rescue Department. Can I have a motion?
So moved?
And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
I'll take this one, Mr. President.
Thank you.
So this, the timing of this resolution is tied to the adoption of ordinance 2026-10 2601, the Article 5 amendments that were just approved, where we are simply taking the township's organizational chart and identifying the new fire and rescue department. And then also updating some of the other nomenclature with departments like Parks and Recreation, and making sure that the finance and IT and engineering and community development departments are all aligned as Chapter 5 now reads.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any board comment? Okay, call on the vote. All in favor? Aye. Passes. 3F, ordinance 2026-05, adoption. An ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, readopting and revising Chapter 98, air pollution of the Radnor Township Code of Ordinances, and designating the Director of Engineering and Community Development as the control and enforcement officer of the ordinance. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Thank you.
I'll address this one also. This has been advertised for a hearing. This is also an ordinance that's been on the books since the late 70s. The only change in this is because of the Article 5 amendment, consolidating the Engineering Community Development Department, we amended this to provide that the control officer is the director of Engineering and Community Development Department. So Mr. Nursini was dying to have another job, and he has it. Not sure this has ever been enforced. We've never had any issues with this as long as I've been here, but that's really the main reason for this. We had to go through different ordinances that had different people under the old code. So it's been advertised for tonight, was introduced at the last meeting.
All right, thank you. Any public comment? Board comment? Okay, calling the vote. All in favor? Aye. 6-0. All right, 3G, ordinance 2026-06, adoption. An ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, revising Chapter 166, Fire Code of the Radnor Township Code of Ordinances by readopting the 2018 International Fire Code and revising the department name to the Department of Engineering and Community Development and increasing bond amounts for blasting permits. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, again, this was introduced and advertised for a hearing tonight. This also was necessitated by the consolidation of community development and engineering, and also by the creation of the fire chief position. And we're also readopting the 2018 International Fire Code. And there were bond amounts for blasting permits. We've increased those also. So this ordinance also hasn't really been updated in quite some time. We had to also provide for some appeal provisions in here under the Code Appeals Board. But again, it's updating, nothing really substantive other than, you know, we're identifying the new positions that the township has created in the fire and rescue department.
All right, thank you. Any board discussion? Any public comment? Go stare him down. Call on the vote. All in favor? Aye. All right. 3H, ordinance 2026-08, adoption. An ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 164, Fire Control Management of Radnor Township Code of Ordinances, establishing the authority and powers of the Radnor Township Fire and EMS Chief, defining and officer in charge and duties at a fire or emergency scene, readopting fire district and mutual aid, prohibiting interference with fire suppression forces and equipment, and establishing penalties for ordinance violations. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Last one.
Thank you.
This, again, because of the creation of the fire EMS chief, we needed to clarify in this section who has authority at fire scenes, and also just update some of the other provisions. This had been introduced at the last meeting. There was one edit at the last meeting, the top of page 2, under the definition of Radnor Township Fire EMS Chief. That was revised and then advertised as such, so that it's clear that the fire EMS chief shall have authority on fire and emergency medical decisions impacting the township, unless there could be instances where the board needs to approve something, but in most cases, that would fall within the fire EMS chief's authority. Again, this is because of the consolidation of the departments and the creation of the new department. We're updating this ordinance and also reestablishing the fire districts in the township. So it's clear where those fire districts are. That's
All
it.
right, thank you. Any board discussion? Public comment? Okay, seeing none. Call on the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, on to reports from board liaisons. Who would
Well,
like
I
to go
do.
first?
So, I'm sorry. So the EAC held a town hall last week about potential phase-out to ban of gas-powered leaf blowers. And it was vocal. It was vibrant, that's it. It was vibrant and vocal. People willingly expressed their opinions, which is a good thing for all of us. In addition, there will be another town hall on Thursday, April 23rd. I do encourage anyone who either is for or against the phase-out of gas leaf blowers, or some sort of limitation or no limitation to whatever it is, whether you are a resident or you are a landscaper operating in Radnor. I do encourage you to come on out and hear the presentation from the EAC. It'll probably be a fuller presentation based on the feedback from last week. And there we are. It was, we didn't need microphones. It was.
All right, anyone else from other boards? Okay, any new business? New business, new business. Anyone? Old business? Nobody, no, no. Public participation? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?